Ordering a coffee used to be nothing. You walked up, said what you wanted, maybe made a small joke with the person behind the counter, and that was it. Today, a growing number of people would honestly rather do almost anything else. They order through an app just to avoid 30 seconds of talking to a stranger. That's not a small, random detail. It's a symptom of something much bigger. Social anxiety isn't just still around, it's actually rising, especially among younger generations. And once you understand why, the coffee app thing suddenly makes a lot more sense. Let's set the scene first. Rates of social anxiety have been climbing for years now, well before anyone had heard the word pandemic. Researchers keep finding the same pattern in different countries. More people report feeling nervous in ordinary social situations, not just public speaking or job interviews, but everyday things like calling a stranger, joining a group conversation, or eating alone in public. So what changed? Here's the first insight, and it explains far more than people expect. Social skill works like a muscle. It needs regular, low-stakes practice to stay strong, and modern life has quietly removed a huge amount of that practice. Think about how many small social interactions used to be unavoidable. Calling a shop to ask if they had something in stock. Asking a stranger for directions. Making small talk while waiting in line. Each one of these was tiny, forgettable, and completely low risk. But together, they trained your brain that talking to unfamiliar people is normal and survivable. Now imagine someone who orders everything online, works from home, and communicates mostly through text. They aren't lazy or broken. They simply never get the small, repeated practice that used to happen automatically. So when a real social situation does show up, a work meeting, a party, a phone call, it feels much bigger and scarier than it actually is, because the muscle hasn't been used in a long time. Here's where most people get this completely wrong. They assume anxious people are just naturally more nervous as a personality trait. But a lot of modern social anxiety isn't really about personality at all. It's about missing repetitions, not missing courage. Now for the second insight, and this one is genuinely uncomfortable to think about. Every social mistake today has the potential to live forever, and your brain absolutely knows it. 20 years ago, if you said something embarrassing at a party, a handful of people saw it, and within a week, almost everyone had forgotten. Today, an awkward moment can be filmed, screenshot, or posted, and it doesn't fade the way it used to. Even if that almost never actually happens to any specific person, simply knowing it's possible changes how safe social situations feel in your mind. Picture someone hesitating before answering a simple question at work. In the past, a slightly wrong answer disappeared into the normal noise of daily life. Now there's a quiet, background awareness that anything could technically be recorded, judged, or shared. That awareness alone raises the emotional stakes of ordinary interactions, even when nothing bad is actually happening in that specific moment. This connects directly to the third insight, which might be the most powerful one. Constant comparison has quietly raised the bar for what feels like acceptable social performance. Scrolling through feed after feed, you mostly see people at their most confident, most charming, most socially effortless moments. Nobody posts the awkward pause, the joke that didn't land, the conversation that fizzled out. So your brain slowly builds a distorted average, believing that everyone else socializes smoothly all the time, while your own normal, occasionally clumsy moments feel like proof that something is wrong with you specifically. Here's a short story that captures this well. A young woman once described dreading a simple work lunch with new colleagues. She spent the entire morning imagining every way she might embarrass herself. When she finally sat down, she realized something strange. Almost everyone at the table seemed a little nervous too, checking their phones, laughing slightly too quickly at jokes, glancing around the room. She wasn't the only anxious person in the room. She was just the only one who assumed she was. There's also a quieter side effect worth mentioning. remote work and online school, for all their convenience, removed thousands of tiny hallway interactions that used to happen without anyone even trying, a quick joke before a meeting starts, a comment about the weather while waiting for the elevator. None of those moments felt important at the time. But they were quietly doing a lot of work, keeping social muscles active in the background of an ordinary day. So what can you actually do with this? Here's a simple, practical starting point. Deliberately bring back a few small, low-stakes social interactions into your week. Order in person instead of through an app. Call instead of texting, just once in a while. Say a quick, genuine hello to a neighbor. These moments feel almost pointless individually, but they're exactly the repetitions your brain needs to relearn that social contact is safe and ordinary. And the next time you feel anxious walking into a room, remind yourself of that lunch table. Most people around you are quietly managing their own version of the same nervous feeling. Social anxiety isn't a personal defect that appeared out of nowhere. It's a very human response to a world that slowly stopped giving you the practice you used to get for free.